Hey, welcome to Woodworking with Wes. I have something special for you today, but it comes with a story. As human nature is, we enjoy doing things most when we do them well. Take, for example, a skier. A skier does a really good job flying down the hill, makes all the jumps, turns all the corners. He enjoys that. He enjoys it more than digging himself out of the bushes or burying himself in the snowbank. Woodworking is exactly the same way. You enjoy woodworking more when you do a project that turns out nice, more so than if you have to go back to the lumber store 2 or 3 times to buy more wood. Well, years and years and years ago, an old furniture maker taught me a little bit of a trick, and I'm going to pass that along to you today. First off, I'm going to kind of show you the way we typically do things. We usually start with a whiteboard. This would be a dresser. We have a face frame. These are the cross pieces that go between the drawers. We've listed out some of our parts. We've done our math, but did we do it correct? We hope we did, and sometimes we do. But one thing that this doesn't tell us is, what is this going to look like when we're in our room? I want to show you this little trick. I've cut out my parts. All of these parts that I have listed here, face frame parts and drawer face parts, I've cut out right here. And we're going to do what we call a dry fit. But a dry fit for the whole face of this dresser. So let's start off. These are our face frame pieces. Okay, let me make some room here because I've got some things that I want to show you. These pieces right here represent our face frame. These are our rails, these are our stiles. Let's go ahead. Now this is all going to be dry fit, so nothing's going to be put together permanently. This all just fits together so that we can check ourselves against the measurements that we had on our whiteboard. Okay, so we go together kind of like that. All right, there's the outside of our face frame. Now we have some 3/4 inch dividers between our drawers. So we're going to put some dividers in between here. These represent our drawer openings. Our top drawer we've cut to size. Now it's a rough cut, so it's not been sanded or anything like that. And so we have some little spacers that we're going to put in here that represent the space that will be between our face frame. This is going to be flush, all flush. So these are inset drawers. And these little spacer blocks will represent the space that is between our drawers. And so we push that up like that. Okay. And we'll just keep working our way down. Our next 2 drawers are equal size. Again, we'll use our little spacer blocks. Now, we're going to want about 1/8 of an inch between our stiles and rails and everything for our drawers to open and close correctly. And that's what these little shims represent, is that space that will be between. Okay, and we got one on each side because the space will be, because this is a inset door, our space will be equal all the way around our drawer faces between our stiles and rails, and these are center rails that will be between the dividers between our drawers. Okay, we're just working our way down. Now, if I was checking myself to make sure that things were coming out correct, I would want this to be all put together, and I would want my measurements to turn out the same all the way around. And if I had to adjust them, I could adjust now because I haven't got it glued together and I don't have everything exactly where it needs to be for a final. But this would allow me to make the necessary adjustments before I make all of my drawers and panels this tells me whether or not my measurements, my math on my whiteboard drawing was correct. It also tells me a little bit about what size of dresser I'm looking at. So if I have a limited space in my room, this will give me a better visual of what I'm going to be putting in the room. I even brought my handles out. Now, you could put a center handle on there, but that's too small. I like the idea of putting two handles, so that's why I bought the handles this size for this. And I can put my handles on there and just set them there. And now I have a real visual, a real physical visualization of what I'm going to be putting together as far as this dresser. I can look in the room and I can say, okay, this is too big, or this is too small, or this is just right. But it really gives me an idea by just doing a dry fit on the face. It gives me an answer to what I'm thinking when I look at my whiteboard. So like I say, you look at a whiteboard, it gives you some information and enough information, but this gives you a visualization, which is a real trick when you're building good furniture. You want to be able to see what you're building, and you want to be able to make sure that what you see in here is what you end up with out here. And that's what we work for here on Woodworking with Wes.